one way that the government always does it is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're doing here.
I'm a private investigator. I've got some envelope that says Super Mayor. Inside I have from the United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois.
All right, let's dive right in. Ever heard of a mayor who's got all the drama of a reality TV star? So buckle up, because Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dolton and supervisor of Thornton Township, has been making headlines in all the wrong ways. So it's the kind of story you won't believe, and by the end, you'll be left asking, how does she even get away with this?
This administration is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
Picture this Henyard, a local leader who's supposed to be holding things together, instead seems to be running things as if she were the queen of chaos. You'd think this was all some elaborate reality show, but no, it's just another day in the town of Dolton. Her journey from Dolton's first female mayor to township supervisor has been anything but smooth. She's not just managing one office, she's got her hands in two major leadership roles. And with those roles come big responsibilities, ones that she's apparently not handling too well. So let's get into the specifics here. Tiffany Henyard isn't just facing a few complaints here and there. So no, this is way bigger than that. We're talking about legal battles, feuds with the board of trustees, and even the involvement of some high-profile investigators. Her story has all the makings of a blockbuster. She's been accused of misusing funds, engaging in lavish spending, and creating havoc in village meetings. And that's just scratching the surface.
I was saying, no, he's not employed by us. So you have got just this gyration.
To give you an idea, Henyard's relationship with the Dolton Board of Trustees is as tense as it gets. She's been at loggerheads with them over practically everything, from budgetary issues to big ticket purchases. So recently, a Cook County judge had to step in and slap her with a restraining order. And why? Because she tried appointing a new village attorney, a police chief, and a village administrator without consulting anyone. So yes, she basically thought she could just make these big moves on her own. The court wasn't having it, and Judge Thaddeus Wilson ruled that she needed the board's approval for such appointments. Imagine thinking you can appoint officials to key positions like it's your personal playground.
Last month, the judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from trustees.
Now here's where it gets even juicier. In what looks like an attempt to make things right, or maybe just to dig herself in deeper, she went ahead and hired not just any investigator, but former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Yes, you heard that right. The same Lori Lightfoot who once ran one of the biggest cities in America is now playing detective in Dolton. And why? Because the village board has serious concerns about Henyard's handling of public money. Lightfoot's investigation has already revealed a financial black hole. We're talking about millions missing from the village's general fund. The rumors are that Henyard's spending includes some questionable choices, from expensive parties to extravagant purchases that would make anyone raise an eyebrow.
Who would make a one-day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon? And the main thing is, what is it?
To really set the scene, let's zoom in on one of those infamous board meetings. It's become such a mess that some trustees have actually refused to attend out of concern for their safety. And you can't really blame them. These meetings have apparently devolved into chaotic shouting matches, with Henyard reportedly bulldozing over anyone who gets in her way. In one meeting, she tried to push through decisions without even bothering to make sure there were enough trustees present to make it official. Talk about audacity. And when she was called out for it, well, let's just say she didn't take kindly to the criticism.
Sometimes we get invoices, but those invoices lead to more questions, and sometimes we don't get answers to those questions. And so it's not about clickbait, it's about just making sure the right thing is.
Speaking of Lightfoot's investigation, it seems like every day there's a new bombshell revelation. We're talking luxury purchases, extravagant meals, and even a massive party that supposedly cost for over $100,000. And all of this while the village is drowning in debt. At one point, it was reported that Henyard spent an unbelievable amount on Amazon purchases in a single day. It's almost like she thinks the town's budget is her personal credit card. And guess who's picking up the tab? That's right, the taxpayers.
What I think is interesting about this case, this story, is you can be highly legal and unethical at the same time.
It gets even better. When Henyard's not busy with her spending sprees, she's stirring up trouble with the board of trustees. So they've tried to put a stop to her unchecked spending, and she's met their efforts with nothing but defiance. At one point, she actually vetoed resolution that would have allowed the board to conduct an external investigation into her spending. You'd think she'd want to clear her name, right? But no, it's as if she's daring everyone to challenge her.
So that's one of the reasons I vote no when we go through our board packets. It's like, some of this stuff, it's like you don't know exactly what it's for, and then when you ask a question, there's no answer.
But if you think Henyard's answer there, think again. In one particularly bold move, she went ahead and tried to cut off access to Vital Village software for own village administrator Keith Freeman after he began cooperating with her opponents. Imagine the chaos that caused. as Critical Village operations nearly came to a standstill. According to trustees, she's even gone so far as to threaten to disregard the court's order entirely. Attorney Bert Odelson, representing the trustees, noted how outrageous it was, claiming that Henyard seemed more interested in stirring up division than actually governing. Her relentless grip on power has left the village in an even deeper state of disarray, with people on all sides wondering just how far she's willing to go to maintain control.
Of court, the judge today declining to hold her in contempt, but did warn her that if she did not follow the ruling, he would.
And it's not just the trustees who have had enough. The residents of Dolton are catching on too. During one particularly heated meeting, a resident actually shouted that they wouldn't be satisfied until she was out of office. People are angry, and they've got every reason to be. After all, this is a town that's struggling financially, yet here they are watching their mayor splash out on luxury perks and parties like it's no big deal. But Henyard isn't backing down. In fact, she's done the exact opposite. At one point, she even appointed a mayor pro tempore, someone who could supposedly step in for her if she were unable to perform her duties. It sounds almost like she's planning for some sort of showdown. It's no wonder people are calling her the super mayor, though not in a good way. It's like she set herself up as untouchable, and now she's daring anyone to try and take her down.
I think you should pay everybody. Is it a reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for. You just got it.
This leads us to a broader question. Is this just a Dolton problem, or is it part of something bigger? You can't ignore the fact that Henyard isn't the only one who's been called out for controversial behavior in Illinois politics. So there seems to be a pattern here, with certain leaders accused of mismanaging funds, spending lavishly, and treating public office like a personal fiefdom. And it's not lost on people that many of these figures are Black leaders in suburban towns. It's almost like there's a double standard at play. People want to support these leaders. But at what cost?
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the People's Mayor and People's Supervisor.
The criticism doesn't stop there. Some are pointing fingers not just at Henyard, but at Black female politicians in general, claiming that they use their identity to deflect any criticism. It's a controversial take, but it's one that's been making the rounds. Henyard, for instance, has brushed off some of her critics as simply being unable to handle her bold leadership style. And she's even gone so far as to say that people are intimidated by her power. But is that really what's going on here? Or is it just a convenient excuse? Take Kamala Harris as another example. She's faced her fair share of criticism, and some argue that she, like Henyard, uses her status as a Black woman in politics to shield herself from scrutiny. It's a touchy subject, and it raises a lot of questions about how we hold leaders accountable. Are some politicians using their identity as a way to dodge legitimate criticism? And if so, what does that mean for the communities they're supposed to be serving?
We needed those officers to be on the street fighting crime, and instead we have several officers that are riding around protecting America.
Back in Dolton, the saga continues. It's not just about Henyard anymore, it's about a whole system that seems to be failing. Dolton isn't the only facing these issues, it's just the most high-profile case right now. But how many other towns are out there with leaders who are playing fast and loose with public funds? It's a sobering thought, and it's got people wondering if there's any hope for real change. Henyard herself has shown no signs of stepping down. In fact, she's fighting tooth and nail to keep her position. She's made it clear that she's not going anywhere without a fight, and that she believes she's the best person to lead Dolton. But with every new scandal, it's becoming harder and harder for people to take her seriously. Her supporters argue that she's just misunderstood, that she's a strong leader who's not afraid to shake things up. But her critics aren't buying it. They see a leader who's out of control, one who's more interested in self-promotion than in actually helping the people she was elected to serve.
Mr. Lacey is absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit your guilt first.
So there's another layer to this drama, too. Henyard isn't just a controversial figure, she's also a polarizing one. Some people see her as a trailblazer, the first woman to lead Dolton, a symbol of progress. But others see her as a cautionary tale, proof that not everyone who breaks barriers is fit to lead. And with all the attention on her, it's like she's become a lightning rod for all the frustrations people feel about politics in general. She's the face of a system that many feel has let them down, and she's paying the price for it. At the end of the day, it's hard not to wonder what the future holds for Henyard and for Dolton. The legal battles, the investigations, the public outcry, it's all building up to something. And whether that's a dramatic fall from grace or a surprising comeback, one thing's for sure, we haven't heard the last of Tiffany Henyard. This is a story that's still unfolding, with twists and turns that no one could have predicted. So if you're looking for a political drama that's got it all, keep your eyes on Dolton. Because as long as Henyard is in charge, there's bound to be more fireworks ahead. So what do you think? Is Henyard a misunderstood leader who's just trying to shake things up? So is she really as reckless and self-centered as her critics say? And what does this whole saga say about the state of local politics? So let's hear your thoughts.